While having superpowers is a fun fantasy, the truth of the matter is, living in a world of supers would be a death sentence for a normal person. This is shown by the shows The Boys and Invincible. That's why in this video I'm going to show you how to survive a superhero world. The first step is to analyze the area that you live in and find out if it's a place with a high average crime rate and/or high superhero traffic. For example, Gotham City would be pretty high in both accounts. Now there are two sides to living in a place like Gotham or Metropolis. The positive is that you have a higher chance of surviving a world-class danger, such as an alien invasion. Not to mention that having a guardian superhero may reduce regular crimes due to fear. However, those guardian heroes would also attract supervillains for different reasons. For example, the Joker. And the attraction of these type of supervillains would likely increase the crime rate back to its previous level or even higher. And in my personal opinion, you have a higher chance of dying from some random goon associated with a supervillain or just being collateral damage during a superhero fight where you get hit by a car or debris after Superman gets thrown into like 6 buildings, than from an impending alien invasion from someone like Darkseid. And so I would recommend personally to move to a quiet spot with little to no superhero activity, like some random farm in the middle of nowhere. Now if you cannot leave for whatever reason, are in the process of moving, or have already moved, the next step is essential. We're not going to be sitting ducks. The next step is to be your own superhero. For a more detailed explanation, I defer to How to Be Batman in Real Life as a starting point, as your only option is to be a non-powered superhero like Batman or the Green Arrow. Now with that said, I am not telling you to go out at night and get your ass beat, but instead to improve both your physical and mental strengths. However, no matter how much weight you lift or how fast your 1 mile is, it won't help you overcome the massive gap between you and a superhero like Superman. To reduce this gap, little by little, you will have to fight indirectly using cons, misdirections, lies, tricks, and every other synonym that exists. To start with, I would recommend reading The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, which details the ways to attain power through devious methods. You also want to learn a variety of skills that can help you in very specific scenarios. I'll give you a couple of examples. One of them would be acting, as you want to make those lies you tell convincing by showing the proper emotions at the correct time. There are numerous videos on different methods of acting available on YouTube to assist with this. Related to acting, you want to learn about cons, the principles behind them, and why people fall for them. You'll also want to learn show magic or magic tricks like performed by Penn and Teller or David Blaine. This is crucial because number 1, the basic principles of magic are palm, ditch, steal, load, simulation, misdirection, and switch, all of which could be used in tricking the enemy. Not to mention, the upper levels of magic provide a lot of useful skills, which is why Batman actually learned magic from Zatanna's father, Zatara. Some of these magical skills would be escaping from locks, breathing fire, running around in ice-cold areas with little clothes on. There's even a magical trick where you can get stabbed by a sword and be absolutely fine, a trick performed by Miram Dejo. Now of course, all these tricks, especially the last one, requires a lot of practice, setups, and controlled environments. And this is where your creativity has to come through, so that you can translate these skills used to entertain audiences into plausible ways to defend yourself against superhero attacks. You would also benefit in learning different sciences such as chemistry, biology, physics, etc. to improve the modifications of the magic. Now the third step is to actually gain superpowers, and I mean the real stuff, instead of the free trial that I've been talking about before. Now this is easier in a world where there are superheroes slash supervillains that gain their abilities through multiple different methods. There are two methods that I would consider effective in gaining superpowers. The first being body modification slash mech suit, using the advanced technology available in that world. By merging technology with yourself, it would advance one's ability closer to a fully fledged superhero. Examples would be Iron Man or the superhero Cyborg. Now if you're wondering if the tech is advanced enough for this, I would argue it is, at least in superhero worlds. In this world where actual deities run around and cause mayhem, many governments would be forced to continuously advance their technology to better handle these unnatural threats. A similar phenomenon happens during wars, where there will be more state-funded science and tech research for weaponry, and the fact that many of these worlds that have superheroes usually have alien technology as well would assist in this advance. However, to reach this tech, the best option would be to join either a private company that specializes in this, or a government research center. In both cases, this would require a degree in a specialized field of STEM, along with necessary experience to be a viable candidate. To get this degree, without a scholarship or financial aid, you would need funding. There are many methods to gain money, but with the previous skills, such as magic tricks, you may be able to go on tour as an entertainer and do college part-time simultaneously. Touring as a magician would also assist in the second way to gain superpowers. Now either way, there might be some hidden dangers that you may not think of. For instance, in the case of the suit, there could be a security system in place to make sure it doesn't get stolen or misused. As for body modification, the obvious one is you may lose limbs, you may lose your eyeballs, etc. But you could also be rejected, as the body may see it as a foreign object, so be cautious. The second way is to find real magic. Now magic is quite fickle, as it can change depending on the world, and even in a specific world, there are diverse amounts of magic. For instance, Shazam's abilities are mainly based off the Greek gods, but also has the wisdom of Solomon, a king from the Bible, whereas John Constantine's abilities are based off of the occult, which is kind of nondescript. And because of the numerous methods of magic, it may be technically easier to find a way to gain some for yourself than in a world where there's only one type of magic. And that's the positive. The negative is that because there's so many ways to get magic, you can't be sure which ones are cursed, or whoever is bequeathing them to you may be fucking with you. The best way to combat this danger is to read up on folk tales, lores, religious texts, etc. to see what you're up against. And even if you don't get earth-shattering powers, even picking up magical relics like Excalibur, the Boots of Hermes, the Holy Grail, and whatever else will only benefit your abilities. Now to look for these, you need to be able to travel, which also costs a lot of money. But being a performer, like a magician, may get you the opportunity to travel and even get into areas that are normally restricted, such as military bases. To wrap it up, by performing these steps repeatedly, you can definitely build up to a C or D class level hero. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the superhero content or the other content, make sure to like and subscribe, and drop a comment on what you want to see next. Thank you to Meta_Ciphers for the idea.